right, we'll continue. I will need a motion to adjourn from executive session.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Grissom,
Here. Yeah.
Commissioner Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Mayor Pearson,
Here.
Commissioner Vetter.
Aye.
Thank you. All right,
Pass that down, please.
all right. Moving on with our consent agenda, approval of the minutes.
Approval of the minutes from the October 18th, 2022 regular city commission meeting.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Moving on to old business. Resolution number R-110-22 tabled. At this time, I would take a motion to untable this resolution.
Make a motion to untable resolution number R-110-22.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution number R-110-22 is untabled. And our,
A resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an economic development agreement pertaining to the 663.64 acre Pickle Materials Homan Farms Shower J3 Development Annexation Territory.
Who's going to address that?
Good evening, Commission. The Economic Development Agreement that you have before you is to support the development of the 663-acre tract of land that was recently annexed into the city, located south of the existing corporation limits along County Road 25A, extending south to exit 78 on Interstate 75. As has been discussed, the subject area is identified by the City of Piqua Comprehensive Plan for strategic growth and economic expansion opportunities, and is well suited for a mix of industrial and commercial land uses. By executing the agreement, it would facilitate the process of advancing the development of the area through the city and the property owner cooperating to facilitate commercial and industrial land development activity, which upon occurring could result in the potential of upwards of 4 million square feet of new building space based upon the type of acreage we're talking about, and the supporting infrastructure along with that, together totaling for upwards of $200 million in private investment activity. All that being in place, presenting a potential for upwards of 2,000 new jobs and an increase in local property and income tax revenues in excess of $2 million each on an annual basis, again, based upon those square footages and industry standards. Specifically, the agreement contemplates that the city and the property owner would cooperate to affect the installation of utilities and roadway improvements necessary to support the development of the area. They would cooperate to establish the economic development incentives, namely a community reinvestment area and a tax increment financing district, to provide the tools necessary to attract the highest and best uses and end users to the site, and also to finance the construction of the public infrastructure improvements necessary to support the development. In summary, the agreement aims to guide the actions necessary to create a Class A industrial park and an attractive gateway into the community. By executing the agreement, we're not putting into place any tax abatements or any tax increment financing tools or anything like that at this time. It's simply acknowledging, both parties acknowledging that it takes some cooperation between both the public and the private sector to be able to achieve these goals. And the agreement is essentially stating that both parties share this goal and desire to move this direction. So I'll stop there. Happy to answer any questions you might have for me. I would also make reference that the project owner representative is also in attendance, and I'm sure he could add to that if you would like.
I guess just for clarification, this is just for the annexation of that property, of that territory out there, which obviously will add to our tax base with different businesses and things like that. And so that's what this is dealing with. So I just want to make sure
All
people are
600
aware.
All 600 acres, right?
All 600 acres. And I like the fact that it pulls over into the other side of 75. As we know, we have if the only undeveloped exit of 75 in the state of Ohio, which means that area is very high commodity for industry and different things that would come in, which means it's a win-win for us bringing in the utilities and things like that. So,
That is correct, Commissioner. It's an exceptional location in terms of industrial development potential, and it's pretty common if you have a landowner when they're annexing that is interested in facilitating development of the property for the locality to enter into an economic development agreement whereby both parties indicate their intentions.
Well, I would agree that it is a great opportunity for our city, and the fact that we can go ahead and develop the land or support it with infrastructure at this point is very, very exciting. Are there any other comments from commissioners? Are there citizen comments? Anybody like to come up and speak? All right, hearing none.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number R-110-22.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Grissom,
Aye.
Commissioner Hines,
aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Mayor Pearson,
Aye.
Commissioner Vetter.
No.
Okay. That resolution has passed. Moving on to resolution number R-117-22 is tabled, but I would entertain a motion to untable resolution number R-117-22.
I make a motion, we untable resolution number R-117-22.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to untable resolution number R-117-22. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Mayor and Commissioner, before we go much further on this, we have on the new business part to request to add a resolution number R-120-22. I would ask that the commission take a vote on whether to add that or not to the agenda tonight.
Could you repeat that again?
Under number 13, you see a resolution number R-120-22.
Oh, I see, yes, okay.
The resolution authorized purchase of Dell computers and ask that the commission add that to the agenda, approve the
we need to
addition
make
of
a
that
motion
item
for
to the
that?
agenda. What's
We
that?
need to make a motion for that?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we add resolution number R-120-22.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That resolution has been added.
So now the resolution before us is still R-117-22?
Correct,
Yes.
correct.
Can I speak? I'm really thankful that the two people who have volunteered to take over the clerk position are people who are very familiar with what we do here, how the city works. I know it's extra work on top of what you're doing, 9 to 5, so I think we all thank you for taking that on, and it's wonderful to have you guys here and sharing that duty, so thank you.
I would like to interject, first of all, that Melissa Ann Kinney is on your right, and Diana Tamplin, then, of course, has been with us the last few weeks, meetings, and is doing an exceptional job, and we welcome you to clerk our commission. Just to remind you that this job isn't easy. They will be sharing the position. It's a part-time job, but their responsibility is preparing meeting agendas for commission meetings in coordination with directors and other city departments. They maintain complete operation of the city clerk's office. They send copies of the agenda face sheet of the adopted legislation the next day after the commission meeting to the appropriate media outlets. They prepare and send out after each commission meeting any legislation adopted to be placed in the Piqua Municipal Code Book. They prepare, type, and send out financial disclosures of statements to commissioners. They maintain open lines of communication with the city manager, department heads, and all of the commissioners. They attend all city commission meetings, special meetings, to take detailed minutes and record proceedings. So I commend you both for taking on this responsibility, and I'm glad you're with us. Thank you.
Here, here.
Mayor and Commission, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to just read, since it's dealing with the clerk, we typically read the resolution. So it's resolution number R-117-22, a resolution appointing Melissa Ann Kenny as shared clerk of commission for the city of Piqua. As the commission has alluded, that this position now will be shared with Diana and Melissa, and they will continue on with chair duties until the clerk or until one of them resigns or the commission decides otherwise.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would move the approval of Resolution 117-22.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome. Resolution carried. We will move into our ordinance readings. Ordinance number O-9-22, third reading.
An ordinance amending Chapter 50 of the Piqua Code relating to garbage and refuse.
Good evening, Commissioners. If you will recall, as this is the third reading, at the first reading, we did an work session at the end of that meeting and discussed in detail rates and fees that would be affected by these next several ordinances. At the second reading, I detailed for you with a summary of the language updates for this code section. Tonight, I'd just like to ask if there's any outstanding questions that I could answer for you, and also mention that should this pass, we would go through an extensive education campaign with our customers because we have received some questions in how this would affect customers. First and foremost, none of this would go into effect until January 1 of 2023. So we have some time to educate the customers. The one question that we have been getting is in regards to customers that want to, in light of the change to the residential rates, change their level of service. So we would put something out to those customers that would like to change their level of service and provide how they would do that. We don't want to inundate Melissa with a lot of phone calls right off the bat. We want to have a process in place where people would submit those requests and then we would work through them in the next couple months until that becomes effective.
Very good. Okay. Any comments from commissioners or questions?
Can I ask, when you pick up trash and they pick up recyclables, they go to the same place or they go to a different place?
So the trash and the recycling both go to the Miami County Transfer Station. And what happens is they are each dumped separately, and so they go to different locations from there. The trash is collected along with all of Miami County's trash, and it goes to a landfill. And the recycling, Piqua is the only community that is transporting our own recycling to the transfer station. And then they also have a drop-off center there. So our recycling, along with the drop-off center recycling, goes to the Rumpke recycling facility in Cincinnati.
And any reason why other communities are not doing the same thing?
Most of them are contract out that service to Rumpke or Waste Management. They're collecting their recycling that way, or they have drop-off centers.
So no truth to the rumor that recycled material is being dumped in the landfill,
No.
at least not here.
Right. We actually call down to the transfer station ahead of bringing the recycling each day, and they clear the floor and then wait for our recycling to be deposited, and then it goes into a separate semi that goes to the recycling facility.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions regarding this ordinance? All right, I would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance number O-9-22.
So moved.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Grissom,
Aye.
Commissioner Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Mayor Pearson,
Aye.
Commissioner Vetter.
Aye.
All right.
Did you do a second?
The mayor did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I did. Yeah. All right, we've adopted ordinance number O-9-22. Moving on to ordinance number O-10-22, third reading.
An ordinance amending Chapter 51 of the Piqua Code relating to sewers.
Hello, Commission. Once again, the same as with Amy's readings, the third reading here. Same process, work session, extensive questions, and now we're going to read over this. I would like to reiterate with Section 51 sewers, the only changes are to fees, and the rate structure for our customers is not changing. So if there are any questions specific to the fees or any language that's changing, I can answer those now.
If approved, these changes would come to effect Jan 1?
Yes, that's the way we have it written, yes.
Any other questions or comments related to sewers? Any citizen comments or questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance number O-10-22.
So moved.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. Will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Grissom,
Aye.
Commissioner Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Mayor Pearson,
Aye.
Commissioner Vetter.
Aye.
All right. Ordinance number O-11-22, third reading.
An ordinance amending Chapter 53 of the Piqua Code relating to water.
Yes, Section 53 refers to water. Once again, no rate changes for our customer base, and all the fees are associated with water hauling, water hydrant use, service calls, stuff of that nature, so, and laboratory testing. So nothing for our base customers. It's more for the specialty services we provide. And this will also take effect 1/1/23.
Are there any comments from commissioners regarding water? Are there any questions or comments from our citizens? Then I would need a motion to
Make a
adopt.
motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Go ahead, Cassie.
It's been moved and seconded. Will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Grissom.
Aye.
Commissioner Hines.
Aye.
Commissioner Lee.
Aye.
Mayor Pearson.
Aye.
Commissioner Vetter.
Aye.
All right. Ordinance O-12-22, third reading, related to stormwater management.
An ordinance amending Chapter 56 of the Piqua Code relating to stormwater management.
Yes, this, for sections 56 related to stormwater, this section will adjust rates. This is the one we've talked about. Currently, one ERU for homeowners is $6.70 per month. That has not changed for 6 years. This is proposed to go to $7 per month, starting 1/1/23, and 3% higher on 1/1/24, and another 3% higher on 1/1/25.
So the account for stormwater has been depleted. It gets used, right?
It gets used for a lot of different things, yes.
Things that are stormwater related?
Yes, they are.
All the money that has gone out of the account has gone to stormwater.
It goes to stormwater related or stuff in the past that people have deemed stormwater related.
They've deemed,
So I
hear what you're saying.
so leaf pickup, that could be deemed stormwater streets. You know, some of the funds go to help other, economic development projects, parking lots. If there's a stormwater catch basin and sewer associated with that, the stormwater fund pays for the stormwater catch basin and piping associated with projects like that. So it does tie into street projects, economic development projects. Lock 9 has got some portions, with stormwater related, so yes.
I guess I just have a problem that in the past, and like you said, for the last 6 years, we haven't raised the rate, but the account gets used, and if it's not specifically for stormwater, then I don't feel like penalizing the citizens of Piqua with an increased rate and then 3% for the next couple of years after that.
Well, I would say that in my almost 2 years here now, we've been making sure that stormwater fees are used for stormwater infrastructure,
yes.
repair.
You have.
So
I
we're
agree.
on that. Some of the stuff done 10 years ago, I
Yep.
can't speak to that.
I know you can't, and I don't mean to wrap you on that, but you're the man in charge of that program, and I just want the citizens to understand that,
Yeah. We get, just with any underground infrastructure, it's really hard to fathom what's out there, but we have almost 2,000 stormwater manholes, another 1,000, 1,500 catch basins, all the pipe connecting that, throughout the whole city. We've got head walls at Franz Ditch and some other places. We keep, we have S Creek, we keep that clear. There's just a lot of infrastructure that needs addressed, and just like everything else, it's not getting any newer. It's all aged.
In fairness, we're not the only community who is looking at a ratchet system for increasing cost, increasing fees.
No,
You're not.
I think we're lucky we built a lot of our water and sewer over the last 5 years, and we've absorbed those costs. And because if you're building stuff now with the uncertainty and the interest rates going up, so we got our major purchases in. Now we're going to be maintaining a lot of the underground stuff over the next 5 years. We've got a lot of smaller projects lined up, storm, sewer, and water, to start addressing the underground infrastructure.
And the other comment would be a failure for us to maintain an active stormwater system would result in substantial penalties from the EPA.
Yes, we do abide by the MS4 permit that is put out by Ohio EPA, that is updated every 5 years, so they can come out and monitor you for that, especially if there are failures, they will look into those.
Yeah.
So,
All righty. Are there any other questions or comments from commission? Or question or comments from our citizens? All right, then I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance O-12-22. Will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Grissom,
Aye.
Commissioner Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
No.
Mayor Pearson,
Aye.
Commissioner Vetter.
Aye.
That motion is adopted. Ordinance number O-13-22, third reading.
An ordinance amending Chapter 94 of the Piqua Code relating to municipal golf course and city parks.
Commissioners, another third reading. We discussed this at length, not only in this body, but this was also discussed at the Park Board and the city's new utility board. Both of those entities are recommending passage through the City Commission. This ordinance updates our golf course language and parks and rec language.
Okay. Are there any comments or questions regarding this ordinance? Citizens? Hearing none, I'll need a motion. to adopt.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance O-13, thanks, dash 22.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Grissom,
Aye.
Commissioner Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Mayor Pearson,
Aye.
Commissioner Vetter.
Aye.
That ordinance is adopted. Ordinance number O-14-22, third reading.
An ordinance amending Chapter 150 of the Piqua Code relating to building regulations, Appendix Table A, fee schedule.
Thank you. This, like the other items, is the third reading pertaining to this matter. As we've discussed previously, there's a couple minor revisions that reflect the current department now responsible for plumbing, which is Miami County Health Department. And then beyond that, it effectively removes the fee schedule table from the section of the code, given that those fees are actually collected at Miami County by the Building Regulations Department.
Okay. Any questions or comments from commissioners? Any questions or comments from citizens? I would move to adopt ordinance number O-14-22.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Grissom,
Aye.
Commissioner Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Mayor Pearson,
Aye.
Commissioner Vetter,
Aye.
Ordinance is adopted. Ordinance number O-15-22.
An ordinance amending Chapter 151 of the Piqua Code relating to subdivision regulations, Appendix Table A, fee schedule.
This item updates this section of the code to reflect a proper department naming convention and also adjust the fees based upon a comparative analysis of our fees for these types of items as it relates to neighboring communities, but even more so looking at the cost for us to provide these services when we're reviewing these type of items, including the staff time involved in reviewing these items. So the adjustments reflect the actual cost of staff time to review the types of items noted.
Any questions or comments from commissioners? Any questions or comments from citizens? Hearing none, need a motion to adopt ordinance number O-15-22.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Grissom,
Aye.
Commissioner Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Mayor Pearson,
Aye.
Commissioner Vetter.
Aye.
Ordinance number O-15-22 is adopted. Ordinance number O-16-22, third reading.
An ordinance amending Chapter 154 of the Piqua Code relating to zoning regulations, Appendix C, fee schedule.
This section includes updates that are very much similar to the previous section, whereas the previous section addressed items related to subdivision code elements. This section pertains to items related to zoning permit elements.
Are there any comments or questions from our commissioners? Questions or comments from the citizens? And I move to adopt ordinance number O-16-22.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Grissom,
Aye.
Commissioner Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Mayor Pearson,
Aye.
Commissioner Vetter.
Aye.
Ordinance number O-16-22 is approved. Moving on to new business. Ordinance number O-17-22, first reading.
An ordinance to vacate a portion of a public right-of-way.
Thank you. This item pertains to a piece of undeveloped public right-of-way, which is at the very north end of what's referred to as Scudder Street. If you were to see this location out in the public environment, you might not even notice it or recognize it as a public street right-of-way. It sits adjacent to a house that's constructed at the end of the street. The area in question is effectively grass and is mowed and maintained by the adjacent property owner, who has requested of the city that this area be vacated so that it can become a part of their front lawn. Previously, an item was presented to the City Commission asking for there to be a declaration of intent to vacate this portion of public right-of-way. That's how the process initiates. It's advertised to the public, published in the paper, and then there's a public hearing held before the Planning Commission. December 14th, 2021, Planning Commission held their public hearing on this item and recommended that the item the right-of-way be vacated. And then the action stalled for a minute due to there being a lack of surveyors available for the property owner to complete the vacation plat survey and/or for other reasons on the owner's side. And now they've brought it back to us and they're ready to move forward. So this would be the first reading of this request to vacate the public right-of-way.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Are there any questions or comments regarding this ordinance?
Looks like we're anticipating a fee for legal notice and survey that was not a part of the street department's budget for the year.
Yeah, as typical for these type of actions, we have requirements to publish it in the local newspaper and satisfy certain provisions within the code. There's a nominal cost that we experience as part of that, but it's what you might describe as the cost of doing business. It's not anything extraordinary.
It's noteworthy that the resident has been mowing that property as opposed to having the city have to maintain that. There are other properties like that in the city, but it's at least noteworthy for this landowner.
Yes, I would agree.
Are there any other comments from commissioners regarding this ordinance? Any comments or questions from our citizens? All right.
First reading, huh?
Yeah, that was the first reading. Moving on to resolution number R-119-22.
A resolution approving an annexation agreement between the City of Piqua and the Board of Township Trustees, Spring Creek Township, for parcel J27-045800 on Looney Road in Piqua, Ohio.
Thank you. This pertains to a property located at the very north end of Looney Road before it turns the corner and turns into Snodgrass. The property sits to the east side of Looney Road, just north of the Indian Ridge subdivision, and it's owned by the Teeters Real Estate Company. They approached the city and inquired about annexing the tract of land to facilitate economic development expansion opportunities. And we've coordinated with them to give them the guidance necessary on what steps would need to happen. Because this is in Spring Creek Township, it's necessary for them to secure an annexation agreement with the township before they can then present an annexation petition to initiate the process of annexing the property. So this item is the annexation agreement, which they have previously secured the consent from Spring Creek Township to accept the annexation agreement. And by your acting on it this evening, it would authorize the city manager to enact it, which then would allow the property owner to go forward with preparing the annexation petition and filing that with the county. Then ultimately, that would come to the city commission for acceptance. This, again, is a 100-acre tract of land. It's convenient to the interstate. It's got some industrial properties to the east or to the west. So the owner is anticipating asking for a light industrial zoning designation and is very interested in working with the city to attract light industrial type users to the site.
And this property is what, north of 25A?
That's right. It's maybe a quarter mile north of 25A at the intersection there. There's water and sewer extended up Looney Road, not quite to the site, but within a few hundred feet. So extension of the utilities would not be terribly difficult. Again, the ease of access to and from I-75 would also make it an attractive site for the type of end users that the owner is interested in. And that, we're ahead of ourselves a little bit, but in terms of the comprehensive plan, the speculated or desired land use would also fit with the overall land use plan the community has adopted.
All right. Any questions or comments from commissioners? Any questions or comments from citizens? Then I move to adopt resolution number R-119-22.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution number R-119-22 is approved. Resolution number R-120-22.
A resolution authorizing purchase orders to Dell Inc. for the purchase of Dell hardware licensing, installation, and support.
Good evening, Commission. These items before you are the estimates for the state term schedule contract to purchase the servers that we need as part of our IT assessment and our IT strategy and upgrading the network. All in total, the $118,000 in servers, should you award this evening, we'll be lucky to get those by March. So time is of the essence. And that's why we brought it on the floor this evening. Do you have any questions?
Any comments or questions? Citizen comments or questions? I need a motion to adopt this resolution.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution number R-120-22.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This resolution carries. It's time for public comment. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the City Commission regarding agenda items, issues, or to provide information. Comments are requested to be limited to 5 minutes, and specific questions should be addressed to the city manager's office. The city manager's office will respond at the following meeting during the city manager's report.
Eva Silvers, 319 3rd Street. I want you guys to indulge me a little bit. I think I broke your mic.
Could you speak into the mic? I'm having trouble.
It's falling.
Okay.
All right. So I'd like for you guys to indulge me, if you would, for a minute. I seen something that was, and I know everybody sits on different panels and there are different things, but I once had a lawyer tell me that ignorance was not a defense to the law. So, I seen something the other day. I was at a different meeting. It was a zoning meeting about going ahead and demolishing houses. There's a huge discord with the citizens in this town, and you guys know I've been up here talking about the dilapidated properties, and I have no issue with dilapidated properties. What I do have an issue with is it being handled in an appropriate manner, in a correct manner, in a truthful manner. This particular meeting that I was at, Frank, you were there, and it has nothing to do with Frank. I listened to under oath testimony, and that's where my problem started. When you are under oath, and I do not care if it is a city meeting, if it is a courthouse, you are expected and ultimately responsible for speaking the truth. This meeting, Aaron spoke, and Aaron indicated that this person had repaired their home with skids. Now, I have pictures of that person's home in my phone. And the reason this is so upsetting to me is because I watched this with Miss Alice and the continual court cases up until she lost both of her houses, and she's deceased now. But this particular case, I lived next door to this house when this house burnt, and I'm not saying that it's being done in a timeful manner. What I'm saying is let's be correct, let's be precise, and if our building code enforcement inspector does not know the difference between a skid and a 2x4, then he probably shouldn't be a building code enforcement officer. But I listened to him say that they're repairing their home with skids. I have photos if you all would like to see. Unless there's 2x4s and SCB boards or skids and something's new for me, there's an issue. And I just kind of wanted to bring it to everybody's attention because this is the problem. You know, that there people are, and I'm not saying there aren't things in this town to address, but when citizens come to you or homeowners come to you and they say, hey, listen, I'm having this problem with Aaron. If Aaron is allowed to testify under oath that something is not what it is, then what is the citizen's recourse? They voted to pass this with pictures that they had all saw that it wasn't skids. I'm not saying that there isn't other issues and other steps haven't been taken. What I'm saying is let's be precise about what it is. Let's not wordplay or toy with words because that's where miscommunication and problems arise. So if you guys would like, I got the pictures. I can show you what I'm talking about. You guys can go back to the former meeting to Chris, I know you did, to see what I'm speaking about.
I can respond to that, if you'd like. So what he was calling skids is actually pallets. And so they were recycled pallet material that were used in the construction. I've seen all the pictures. Thank you.
It's SCV board and 2x4s.
Well, you don't have a picture over the windows.
No, I don't.
Oh,
And that's what I said,
okay.
I'm not speaking.
It's
to all of it.
inappropriate, I'm sorry, it was inappropriate construction methodology. It doesn't have anything to do with Aaron. Thank you.
I know there's good hanging as decor, but
Eva, can you send those to all our email?
yeah. I'll just-
So we all have them? I've got them, you sent them to me already. So I've seen them, I know what you're talking about.
And there may be, I do know she paints and does things with skids as art and crafts. There may be skids. I've not been in the house, but the pictures I've had, that's clearly not skids. And I know with Alice, you know, one of the problems was her porch. The porch that was built in 1996 prior to her even purchasing the house.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Other comments? Come on up.
Roland Sourmill, I live at 660 South Street, Pickwell, Ohio.
Could you pull the mic a little closer? I'm having trouble hearing you, I'm sorry.
Roland Sourmill, I live at 60
I'm better
South
now.
Street, Pickwell, Ohio. I talked to Mr. Lee about ordinance we got, city zoning, whatever it is, about carports. He told me call Miami County, and nothing about a law about carports,
Nothing?
nothing. You're allowed to have,
We
you
have
have
an ordinance.
carports in Troy. I called them about that.
Oh, do we have an ordinance about?
You got an ordinance. But I don't understand why we got an ordinance, which, you know, you guys say this other town ain't doing this other town ain't doing that. Well, this other town ain't got an ordinance on carports, but we do. But my thing is, when Bill Volt was up there, he got a permit for a carport. When Mayor Franz was there, she got a carport thing. And up on Echo Lake Drive, I can't think of the guy's name now. I mean, it's carports, you know, there might be 20 carports in Pickaway. And he went past, excuse me for pointing.
You're right.
Officer Lee went past my house, my carport. I got a picture if anybody wants to see my carport. I got a nice carport. What's the big thing about City of Pickaway and these other towns okay to have? Another town, the City of Pickaway says no, unless you're a mayor or commissioner or something like that, they can have one, but we can't. Why can't we get that changed? Can we get that changed back to, I mean, you might have 20 carports in Pickaway, maybe.
Sounds like we're a little ahead of the game.
Let me ahead of it.
Well, I mean, we're ahead of other cities that don't have regulations on carports.
There ain't that many in Troy, they say. They don't matter.
I understand, but I'm
There
saying,
ain't that
you
many
know,
in Pickaway.
if we're trying to improve our community, we're leading
Think
the way.
carports make them look bad?
We're leading the way.
Huh?
We're leading the way. We're setting standards that are appropriate for
Okay,
our community.
why when you're commissioner, you can have them? You got commissioners that got carports in town.
I don't have
Not
carports.
this, I don't know if you got, I don't know
Like
if you guys
current.
do.
I don't have.
None of
Right,
us.
and they got a permit. Bill Volt still got his hanging in the window of his garage.
Frank, do we know when that carport legislation went into effect?
2013,
I have no idea
I'm
when the
thinking.
carport legislation went into effect. Currently, his carport in particular, I really don't want to discuss too much about it. We're actually in court over his
Okay,
carport
don't.
I'm
currently.
trying to get it.
And, oh, I don't know when the regulation came into effect.
That's
It's
all I
been on
wanted to
our
know.
books for a long time.
Okay. Here's the thing, to change any ordinance or resolution, you can make a proposal, and you just like you're doing right now, you can ask. And then that's something that, you know, it can be brought up here. And if it's something that we decide to change, that'd be something that the current commission could change. But like you said, there's 20 people and that have them, and doesn't affect that many people. I mean, I don't know. But that's the process. So we bring it up, make a resolution to change the current, is it an ordinance or a resolution? It's part of the code, so it's an ordinance. So,
Zoning violation, it's called on my paper.
Mm-hmm.
I got a picture of my carport, anybody wants to look at
I hear what you're saying, but in order to change that, it has to go through that process. So, it's something you could look at doing. Start contacting all the commissioners and see what their feelings are on that, and see what can be done.
it. When I knows you.
Talk to all of us, though. You do know me.
I have to look
I'm
it
talking
up.
to everybody right now, I guess.
Right.
You were doing that, that's right.
I'd have to look it up, but does it state you can't have a carport, or is it based on the regulations of what you can or can't have?
But see, I like to know how it's wrote up in there. I don't know how it's wrote up in
Okay,
there.
I'll look it
Yeah,
up too.
you'll
I'm-
have to
I'm-
look it up. If you could
I
look it
mean-
up, send it to us. I mean, it helps.
Does it say residential can't have them, but businesses can have them? Because the city of Pickaway got one down behind their building.
Contact each
That's why I
one
just
of
want to
us.
look at the details of the ordinance, so I know a
Yeah,
little
I mean,
more about it.
I'm just going by, like I say, we're going to court over it.
Yep,
I
so
just
I don't
wanna
want him
know,
talking
you know,
about 'em, but-
The city of Pickaway's got one, I got a couple of my businesses,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not having a business.
But not
I had to
residential.
fight it to get it, but, you know, it took me 8, 9 months to get it.
Okay.
But still, you know, I got permission to have it there. Chris was down there, and Frank was down there. You know, they ain't used carports, brand new carports. That stuff ain't cheap. I just like to have my car underneath the carport. I don't know what the deal with my carport.
All I can tell you is that we'll look at it, okay?
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ruth Kuhn. I'm here to make an announcement. I am here representing the Friends of the Piqua Library. As we all know, the holidays are approaching, and there are many wonderful events and performances going on for our community. So I want to mention ours, which is the 9th Annual Holiday Cabaret, going to be held in our beautiful grand ballroom of the Fort Piqua Plaza on Sunday evening, November the 20th. and it's called Friends and Families. It is an array of many, many talented performers from our wonderful city here in Piqua. The tickets are $35. Our friends of the library get first chances at the tickets. That's one of the perks of being a friend of the library. On Friday and Saturday from 10 to noon, they can buy tickets. It is open to the public then on Monday at the library from 10 to 12. And after that, the tickets are available at Reedmark Hallmark store. We're going to be having, I'm going to tell you some of these wonderful performers. Sean Ford, y'all know who Sean is, the executive director of our county United Way. Crystal Gephardt, Adam and Audrey Jackman. This wonderful Jackman family that has 14 siblings, they will be performing. Jason Townsend and Brad and Christina Zimmerman. I hope you all consider supporting this wonderful event for our wonderful city in probably one of the most beautiful venues in the area, the Grand Ballroom of the Fort Piqua Plaza. You can't tell I'm prejudiced about that wonderful building. I have another issue. Should I sit down and come back, or may I?
No, you're good.
Thank you. With Veterans Day approaching on November the 11th, I would like to ask if you would consider looking into having the lights repaired or put back on the wonderful statue of William H. Pitsenbarger. They have been out for a number of months. I think when they did something to the pool, they must have disconnected some of the electric, and those lights have been off for a number of months. I think out of respect for this wonderful, one of our country's most wonderful heroes, we should certainly see that those are back on. Also, when I drove by, the park at that entry is all black. All of the lights are off. So I think we are remiss by not looking into this, I think, serious condition. And it is very disrespectful to this hero that we don't have those lights on. So I hope maybe you can make that happen for us before Veterans Day. Thank you. You're all doing such a wonderful job, and you're all looking at me, and I think you're all listening to me, too.
We're listening. We are listening.
Just two comments. I can remember when we put the lights on the Pitsenbarger statue, but I know with just there's been so much going on down there.
Yeah, so the electric service ran through the pool, and during demolition, we lost the electric service, and so we're in the process of getting that fixed. But again, with construction, supply chain issues, things like that, we haven't gotten it fixed yet.
Is our power department fixing those lights?
Yes, I'm sure if it's not them, it will be a contractor, but we still have to get a meter socket, get the pole set, and have an independent service instead of having it run through the old pool building.
Okay, great. Well, we'll look forward to that then. And happy Veterans Day and happy holidays. I guess this is early, but that's okay.
Thank you. And I have to say, for those of you who have not attended the Holiday Cabaret, it is a fabulous program. It is always wonderfully done, and it's so wonderful to hear the talent. We have such a talented community that can sing and just perform. So thank you. It will be wonderful. So I encourage everybody to get out
You
and
know,
see it.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, you know, our Friends of the Library is a very small group. It's all volunteer, just like our Friends of the Piqua Parks, all volunteer, nobody is paid. But we've brought in the Springfield Symphony, the Lima Symphony, even the Dayton Philharmonic. We have brought in to Piqua, Ohio. It's fabulous. It's great work that these all volunteer committees are doing for our community to make it a cultural center for our area. Again, in a beautiful grand ballroom. You know, when our performers come, when the orchestra comes from out of town, from, you know, Lima and Dayton and Springfield, and when they come to the ballroom and go in the room, all of them say, I can't believe this beautiful room. So we should be all very proud of what we've done 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Ruth.
Ruth. Hello.
Good evening. My name is Melanie Walker, and I reside at 526 North Wayne Street. And I was up here just wanting to make sure everyone knew what the Piqua Arts Council was doing. On this Friday or Saturday evening, we will have the Bourbon Affair at the gallery, complete with Viva La Strings, a three-piece quartet that will be providing music during the Bourbon Affair, which is a 5-course meal, complete with 5 tastings of even bourbon or wine. And it is a wonderful new event this year, and it's part of our fundraising for the Arts Council and all the wonderful things that it does.
Thank you.
Thank
I have
you.
my tickets. I'm looking forward to it, so thank
All
you.
has tickets?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
Great.
very excited.
it'll be good.
Tickets
Thank
still
you.
available?
Thank you for sharing that.
They are.
Okay.
Great, great, thank you.
Do they serve Sprite?
I like bourbon. That
Hi,
sounds
my
good.
name's Mayor Shaviak. I live at 2235B Morning Glory Circle in Troy. I'm here today because I was at the last zoning meeting for 603 Covington Avenue. I was hoping to talk about this property today and the issues that I've been coming across with trying to get a hold of the correct people and go through with trying to fix up this home. From the beginning, this house was condemned in May of last year. My grandmother was allowed to help clean up the inside of this property. She was trying to get in touch with somebody about what it would take to get this property moved, to her name, with it being condemned. She never got in touch with anybody necessary. Moving forward, recently, I have finally been able to have the opportunity to say that I am interested in this property. I got with a hold of some people to be able to see what was needed. I was told to get a hold of specific people. I feel stalled. I have not been able to get a hold of these people or have been gotten back with in a timely manner. I know this house was told that it could be demolished. I was not aware of this or what the meeting was until after I was already at the meeting. I had tried several times to get a hold of someone and see what needed done before this process was taken. I had spoken with Rob England recently to be able to have the house inspected. I have also gotten in touch with Wade Westfall, both of which suggested that I come here tonight to speak with you all about this property. The house is able to be rehabilitated, and I would like for this to be seriously looked at instead of being demolished. I'm willing to go in and take the time on this.
Guess you need a starting point. Who have you talked to? Who do you want to talk to?
This started with Nate Funderburg. I asked about, especially with the house being condemned, what the process was to be able to move a title. He got in touch with Chris Musing. For me, later down the road at this point, and kind of a red flag, no one got in touch with me. Hey, you're interested in this property. This is what we can do. Down the road, I was able to speak with Aaron Morrison, who told me not to worry about having the house inspected and to go to the zoning meeting instead and try to plead my case at that meeting, which I did.
What was the result of the meeting?
The meeting is that the house is able to be demolished. They accepted for the demolishing of the home.
Is your name on the title now?
It is not. It is on my stepfather's. We are trying to get it into my name as we speak now. There are things that need done with the house as taxes, a lien, both of which can be taken care of immediately. My grandmother is the lien. She has promised to remove it. It said that the house can go to me and I can fix it.
So is the plan that you would move into the house? Is that
Yes, the plan is to fix it up and move in myself. I have 2 small children and a fiance, so we're,
Your cute children is back there.
yes, he just turned 6 months, and I have a 3-year-old as well. So we're just trying to take the one thing that my family was able to leave for me, even in bad condition, for me to fix up and be able to have something, a home for me and my family.
Is your grandmother still alive?
She actually lives next door to the property.
Oh, she's, okay.
Yes.
Have you considered legal action about the
To
house?
stop the, yeah.
Possibly, I wanted to
Talk to
see
Nate.
what
I
we
mean,
could do
Nate's
at
a
this
lawyer.
meeting, bring it up to you guys first. I know that I have spoken to Aaron Morrison again recently. I was told that the home was actually not inspected before Rob England since the Public and Safety and Health Department, the last time they had inspected it. I've also spoken with Chris Musing in person last week, who said that instead of an inspector, which was what I was told before needed to inspect the home, it now needs to be a licensed architect or engineer.
My question to you is that if you feel that the action being taken is inappropriate, you have the opportunity to seek legal action to remedy your concern.
Which is something I have been looking into as of late, yes.
And I also think the hard part is until the title is in your name, or it's just one of those legalities. So if your stepfather is part of this process or whatever, but.
So the issue with my stepfather is he actually only has one notice from the city about the house. He told me recently the only one that he has gotten is that the house will be demolished.
But I mean, if you're moving forward, legality or whatever, whoever has the title needs to be part of that process.
So, correct. So the issue was I was waiting for a divorce decree to be able to come forward and put my interest into this home. Firstly,
Those
So
actions
sorry,
are
it's-
what I would call social actions, but I'm suggesting to you, since you've already talked to Nate, and he's an attorney, he would certainly be able to advise you on legal
yes,
kinds of
he's
actions that could be taken.
recently he's been able to point me to a few people who might be able to help. To get back with what I was saying, basically, we are in the process of getting the title into my name. I'm also, though, hesitant with the house about to be demolished instead of for me to be able to rehabilitate it.
I guess my whole point is if you're fighting for this, not that nobody's going to listen to you, but with the law, unless it's titled in your name, it's going to be really hard to do anything. So I think the first step might be working with your stepfather. And I agree. I know Nate, I think you could work with him and just, because that's going to be the first step. Because even if you don't, correct me if I'm wrong, Frank, the fact that she doesn't have the title, she has no claim on that property, correct?
That's correct, but Nate probably won't be able to help her.
Okay. Okay.
And with all due respect to her, I know she may have talked to Nate about getting the title in her name. He works with Nate,
This
so
was
it's a
before
conflict,
he
yeah.
recently spoke with me in the last few days and was able to point me to a few people who were able to help.
Sure.
So,
But that's the first step, is getting that title.
I mean, she needs to seek legal counsel.
Yeah.
I just know I was pointed here. I was hoping to maybe get a little bit of help, any advice on how to move forward with being able to stop this process to allow me time that I need to do what I need to fix this home.
I understand totally what you're saying, and I think the reality with the law, there's nothing we can do up here other than point you to legal
To
counsel.
legal counsel,
And
then
to
come back.
also work on getting that title in your name. I mean, we can't magically say, as much as we would like to, we can't because we have to uphold the laws as they stand. So I wish there was something more we could do.
It's all right. I just, some of the things I was concerned about was being told, which I had brought up, was that the home was not actually inspected since the last department. Seeing as there's a sign on the window that says Aaron Morrison should have the code of violations that need to be brought back up to code for the house to be able to be occupied. When I spoke with him, he said he did not have it because it was not inspected. So it was,
Aaron's not on trial at this point. You know,
Correct.
you're running the process. He has supervision, and we're recommending to you that legal counsel is your next step.
okay. Thank you.
Just so the commission's aware of the process that goes on when we seek to tear down a house, the planning department puts an order of condemnation on. They send notices to the homeowner that they either need to tear it down or repair the property, or get with the code enforcement officers to repair the property. When it goes on long enough, the planning department, it's when they're serious about tearing it down. We have a hearing. We actually bring the item before the BZA to affirm or deny the decision made by the planning department. And in this case, we had 6 houses that went before the planning commission, or not the planning, the BZA last week, and each one of the houses was, the order of demolition was affirmed. Some of them should have been torn down a long time ago, but that's just neither here. I mean, we try to work with people.
Anyone else have a comment?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jordan Taylor. I also live at 2235 Morning Glory Drive, Apartment B, in Troy, Ohio. I'm also going to speak about 603 Covington Avenue. I guess I just want to bring concerns about how the process was handled from the get-go. Remember when my father-in-law first moved out of Ohio? I talked with him about what he was going to do with this home. His initial, thought was he was going to pass it on to his children, the 2 children that eventually moved to Arizona. At that time, I had asked, if we would be able to take possession of the property, if we'd be able to do anything with that. At that time, things were happening with regard to the city and the condition of the house, things like that. And I remember after it got condemned, I had actually contacted Erin once I got the agreement that my father-in-law was going to pass it down to us. At that time, no indication was given about any pursuant action on, demolishing the house. Nothing was ever mentioned about demolishing the house. It was just, we talked about, what would need to happen in order to take possession of the house, and that we needed to seek legal action to get possession of the house and move the title over into our name. At that time, there was an issue with regard to dower rights in Ohio being the only, one of the only states that maintains dower rights. So we had to wait until the divorce was final in order to take legal action. I had spoken to Aaron about this. I briefly discussed this. I don't think we discussed in detail the reasoning with Chris, but it seemed like every time that we had brought this issue up about, trying to take possession of this house, we weren't necessarily notified that there was pending litigation to try to destroy the house or demolish the house. We were just trying to seek information, trying to go about it as quickly as we could with the legal process. It wasn't until about 3 weeks ago that the divorce was finalized, and then we were able to pursue that action. That's when we had spoke to Nate. It actually wasn't until a couple days ago that Nate informed us that it would be a conflict of interest if he pursued the case with us. But nobody had mentioned that the entire time throughout this process. Nobody mentioned that there was a conflict of interest. Nobody mentioned that there was destruction of property. This is with the current housing market, when we first started seeking houses, right now we're renting. And we're renting in Troy. I was born and raised in Piqua. I love this city with everything I got. But basically with the current housing market, it's difficult to find a home. It's difficult for opportunities. It is extremely difficult for a young family to try to make it out here. So we thought this was a good opportunity for us. So we've been trying to pursue this thing as best we can with any legal option that we can. It just seems like nobody was straightforward with us about what was coming down the line until we were blindsided with it. And that's the complaint I have.
Okay.
We're trying to do good for our family. We're trying to make an opportunity for ourselves. I want to come back to Piqua. I want to bring my income back to Piqua. I want to bring my tax dollars back to Piqua. I want to live in this city. I want to raise my kids in this city. This is a city I know, You know, I remember going through school here. You know, I loved everything about it. I remember being in Piqua Teen Leaders. I remember the opportunities I was given there. I remember all the opportunities that this city gave me. You know, I remember meeting great people who taught me great lessons, and I want to come back to the city. And this is an opportunity for me and my family. It's an opportunity for, I mean, if taxes are the issue with the house, if that's why we're pursuing it, we're fully prepared to take care of that. This is an opportunity for us to be able to take care of the city's issues with the house, the way it looks, you know, fix up and develop a part of the community. And it seems like everything has just been handled in a way that's been more predatory to us than what I would expect. And I just want to bring that complaint to you guys because, you know, we really, really want to, you know, be able to take this opportunity, but it just seems like it hasn't been afforded to us. And, you know, I just want to make that known.
And I guess the question that needs to be asked is what can we do to help these people at this point? If it's said and done, other than you getting representation, legal representation, that's the key.
Absolutely plan to.
You got to do that, and you got to get it in your name, like Casey was saying. So once it's in your name, then you got a whole lot of say so, and stuff can happen. And then I don't know where it's at in the process, and you know that's not something we can decide for you. But listening to your complaint and concern, I'm concerned that no one informed you, but because you didn't own it, I mean, I don't know if there's an obligation for them to inform you. So once you get to that point, and if it's not too late before it's torn down, you know, we can point you in the right place. The people that you were talking to, those are the people that should be helping you. So.
And I absolutely understand that, and this is my issue with
Sure.
moving it right now without having verbal communication. I'm sorry, I'm right.
I hear you, and
Without
I hear
having
you.
verbal communication, you know, and an opportunity, an assurance that we're going to get help, that, you know, somebody wants to help us.
Yep.
Not necessarily asking
Understand
for
that.
somebody to do this for us, but I just remember speaking to Nate in the last meeting we had with Nate before he told us that he couldn't pursue this because of a conflict of interest. He had forewarned us that the city was aggressively seeking this house and aggressively going after this house. At that point, we should just walk away, because what's going to happen is if we continue to pursue it, the city is going to demolish the house and foreclose on it. And then because we have moved that into our name, then we would be on the hook for that foreclosure, and it would destroy our credit and destroy our ability to get a house moving forward. And that's the warning I was given from Nate. So that is what we're facing. I mean, as I said, we are trying to solve both the city's issues and our issues at the same time, and it just seems like that we're spinning our wheels here. You know, I want a little bit more communication, a little bit more, you know, is this possible that we can work with this? We just got the notification, it was, I want to say the end of last week, Friday, I want to say it was, that we got the notification that Nate wouldn't be able to pursue this with us. And that's just where I'm at, and I understand we got to see.
I think we hear your concern.
I do.
And your
Because
5 minutes is.
we want to help.
is there.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jeff Markinet, 202 Sharon Drive. For tonight, I just want to ask a question. Hance Pavilion, I hear different stories, what is happening with it, what the city intends to do with it, and I can't get any clarification what is official and what isn't.
Do you
I
want
can
me to,
respond
or
to
you want me
that.
to? I was going to say it's my ward, but you're working on it
The
too.
city manager and I and several other people met, and would you care to respond, or would you like me to?
So it's currently in the 23 through 25 CIP, and it's been rated along with all of our other projects, but it just comes down to a matter of affordability. So we're working to find out, you know, what's the programming look like in the facility? What does it need to be repaired? What does that look like in terms of anything that would be in the near term or long-term objectives? So we're still working on it.
The other part of that is that I think the city is talking about putting out an RFP, a request for proposals, to take a fresh look at the engineering studies on that building. And so I'm not aware of any plans to tear the building down. I'm not aware of any conflicts with the hydraulic discussion. And I would say that at this point, the discussion is to a place where we're hoping that when the city puts out the RFP, we'll start to get information back that will help us drive
Is there any kind of timeline on this, or?
That's what's so.
Yeah, we're hoping to get the RFP out and have it back this winter. In January, have another discussion about where we're at with
Because
it.
I talked to two commissioners approximately 2 years ago and received virtually the same answer, that they didn't have any proposals on it, that nothing had really happened.
Well, we had an engineering study that was done now about 3 years ago, I think.
May
Got
of-
involved
May of
in
last
COVID,
year.
And I think it's probably outdated, at least in terms of cost. And I think there are a lot of citizens that are concerned about it, and
Yep.
we will have a
Everybody wants
public
to see
meeting
it.
at some point where you
Has
can.
quite a history. It's probably
does.
100.
Absolutely.
It's probably 100 years old
It is.
this year.
Absolutely.
It is,
was
and it's
100
the
years old last year.
structure like that in our country.
We don't
So-
wanna see anything
And I
happen to
will
that.
say that I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think all of us up here want to save that. I mean, we've had
Exactly.
I'm glad to hear
conversations
that,
about
you know.
this, so.
That's a lot of history for,
there's a lot of
for the
history there.
town, for a lot of us individually, it does, so.
Well, and with the Chautauqua history, I mean, that's.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. That's what it was built
Exactly.
for.
And it's the last structure like that. When Chautauqua came here, when we had the last visit, before they came and did what they did, they were amazed at that pavilion. I mean, it's a gem, it truly is.
It is.
Yep, I'm glad to hear that
Yeah.
you're looking at it seriously.
We
and,
are.
You know, I would hope the city, if they find out that it's not possible for the city to do it, that they would talk to individuals
Sure.
in the
But
community
we're
to see
convinced at
what
this
could
point that
happen.
the
Public-private.
project is very similar, in my opinion, very similar to Lock 9, because we have public/private concerns. And my understanding is the Lock 9 project has gone on for 2 city managers and maybe 4 budget cycles. I'm trying to think about how
Yeah,
long
but the
that has
worst
been.
thing is during.
It's not going to be a quick, easy solution.
During the time of that, we have not maintained the facilities we
Absolutely.
have. And,
No
you
disagreement
know,
with
while
that.
we're trying to figure out how we're gonna pay for that,
Right.
this falls apart, so.
More information to come, we hope, here,
Yeah.
at least by the first of the year. We
And
will
great question.
Start to.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank
Start to
you.
put some pieces
Thank
together.
you.
And just know that we're concerned. We are.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. All right, city managers report.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So, in speaking about Lock 9, we had our second bid opening today, and we had no respondents for the bids. It's really, when you look at the contracting ecosystem right now with supply chains, labor shortages, contractors are generally cherry-picking jobs right now. We were disappointed, to say the least. So what we're going to do is look at some other opportunities with contracting methodology, maybe not design, bid, build, maybe go to a design, build scenario, something that will be more appealing to the construction community. So I'm sad to report that. However, we're going to land on a high note this evening. Mr. Monier's here to talk about our improvements in the utility billing office.
Thank you, Paul, for the few minutes. Good evening, Commissioners. You may remember back in December, myself and Ed Kreger came to Commission to request approval to partner with a best-of-breed technology partner called NISC. That was approved at that meeting, and since then, we've been busy at work. So I'm here tonight to touch on a few features, remind Commission and citizens what's coming, and relay a couple important dates and things to remember as we will all be affected by this in a positive way. So smart payments, we're looking forward to, and this is focused on the mobile application side, real-time payment posting. The technology partner that we have, NISC, has partnered with some retail store, national retail stores, so you'll be able to walk into Walmart, CVS, Walgreens with a barcode that will print on your bill and pay cash at that retailer, which will immediately post to your City of Piqua utility account. All of that's available on your cell phone. We're going to leverage the investment we've made in the AMI system and allow customers to manage their daily and hourly electric and water use. You'll be able to set up thresholds for daily and hourly use, where you will get a notification if you're above and or below some of those thresholds to kind of keep an eye on potential issues. It's a very robust communication platform as well. You can tell the city how you want to be communicated with, how often and how much, or not at all. But you will get your news and notifications about your account all on the palm of your hand. We also have a very robust web portal that's launching called Smart Hub. So Smart Hub is the name of the mobile and web portal. This is a little preview here on the screen.
I know that's not my bill. That's too small.
I think that's mine, actually.
Could be.
But from there, you can pay your bill, and that's it. Or if you'd like to delve into the features, you can communicate directly with my office, submit service requests, notification requests, manager use, set up the notifications about your use from there, change things in your profile, manage your account, sign up for AutoPay. And so a couple of things to remember. We've recently sent out some flyers with the utility bills. We've just hit our second cycle. We have one more cycle to go. So the majority of the city should have at least the first bit of communication. But November 30th, our current online and phone payment methods will be offline. So the number that you call to make your payment over the phone will be dark, as well as the online payment site. So that's a Wednesday, starting that Wednesday. On Friday, December 2nd, the utility business office will be closed for business. You can still drop your payment in the night drop. That's the only day that will be closed. I'd like to make that very clear in this transition. So we will open back up on December 5th, which is the Monday, and that's the go live date. And just make a note that during the time of November 30th through December 4th, payments won't post to your account. So that's kind of a pause period as we transition into the new system. We realize there's a due date in there. November 30th is one of our zones' billing due date. So we will suspend late fees and get all the payments posted on over the weekend and into the 5th. So a couple other things to note. All city customers will get a new account number. You will need that account number to log into the new system. We kind of suggest that you look for that on your newest, your bill, your first bill after December 5th, and then go ahead and get registered and logged in after that point. Phone payments will continue to be available after December 5th. There'll be a specific number that'll also be printed on the new billing statements that you can call in directly or get transferred from the phone tree as is now. All AutoPay customers, current AutoPay customers, will be required to register for Smart Hub and then re-enroll on AutoPay. And so that's important to communicate. If you're on AutoPay, you will not be on AutoPay after December 5th, and that'll require some action on the customer's part. We're here to help with that. We'll have a computer set up in the lobby, help people get registered, help people get re-signed up on AutoPay and go through the features as well. So I will be the speaker at the town hall on November 16th here in Chambers. I'll go into some more detail, be available to answer any questions or concerns. And I just want to point out here that we're here to help. Our lobby, our phones are still operating, and we know it's a process. Everybody will be affected, and we hope for the smoothest transition possible. But we're here to help with that. So please reach out to my office if you have questions.
I just want to tell you that when I ran for commission the very first time, one of the biggest complaints was this. It was a very big complaint. There was a whole website set up complaining about utility and what was going on and how the city wasn't responsive. And now we're at this point where people can actually see their bills. They can see their usage. They can make bills and payments online, or they could go to the store, just like you said. This is a big thing. And it shows that not only is the city responsive to the complaints that citizens are making, that the commissioners are listening to the citizens as well. And we advocate, which is what our job is, for those citizens, and you guys are listening. So thank you very much for what the city has done. I know it's taken a long time, but we're here.
I want to echo what Commissioner Lee said, because I was on the commission during that time. And it was a tough, tough time, and it was frustrating for our citizens, and it was frustrating because they weren't able to get on and get the information they needed. I love the fact that you get a threshold. I mean, for those of us that budget, okay, this is what I'm looking at. And, okay, we're not taking extra showers, or we're not going to be in the shower 10 minutes or something like that. I mean, that's just kind of the reality of where we're at. But, yeah, it's been a long time coming, but thank you. I know this is a big, it's a big monster to get moving, but we're moving in the right direction. Now, I understood you did say that information has been sent out in the utility bills, so everybody should have the information you just shared with us of, we're going to be dark for a few days, you're not going to have a late fee. I mean, I think just reiterating that once we get back online December 5th, we're ready to go. So, yeah. And also the fact that people are going to have to re-register and re-sign up, so.
Yep. Yeah, and there'll be more communication coming. Bear with us, but yes,
Perfect.
correct. We're here to help, and we realize it's a big change, and we're going through it together, and we'll get to the other side. But we're excited.
That's great.
And I want to add to that, because I know it's at least 2 years in the making. We've been working on that, and RJ coming online, I mean, he's done a fantastic job. I mean, you pushed this project along more than any of us could, so I do appreciate all the hard work into it. Additionally, we had a list of basically different issues that everybody was experiencing, from credit card payments not going through immediately, to not knowing what their statement even said, to delivery in the mail system being delayed, and different things. And that, honestly, I think this addresses all of them.
All of it.
I'm excited for it. I've been excited for it. I know I keep asking about it every other month, so you knocked out of the park. I'm excited to bring this system on. You know, there's always some bugs worked out with new technology, but leveraging the technology we have available to us, and I know it's not easy, so I just appreciate and commend you for your efforts.
Well, and I think it remembers that our citizens work all different types of jobs. So if I work second or third shift, I can go to Walmart and pay my bill, you know, because I may not be
I didn't know
available
about
to
that. That's
come in.
awesome.
But I mean, yeah, and if I'm paying in cash, I can do it that way, so that's great.
Your presentation at the Energy Board meeting was much appreciated. Two of us were there for that. And there were some interesting scenarios that I think really people don't think about. I'm thinking about the one gentleman who had a squirrel chew a hole in his irrigation line, and the line bled for, 3-4 days? And, I mean, here's an opportunity to discover that, fix that, before you have a $900 water bill.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's part of the process, so thank you.
Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you. That's the end of our presentation.
All right. So we have commissioner comments. Commissioner Hines?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention a few things that are happening in our community. I know that Ruth Kuhn mentioned the Holiday Cabaret. Also, this coming Friday night, our football team is still in the playoffs, so we are traveling to Edgewood for the second division of our playoffs. So good luck to the Piqua Indians. And we have a couple quarter auctions coming up. Parents as Teachers is November 10th, that's next Thursday. And then the Optimist Club quarter auction is November 11th, which is Friday. I know that especially with the Optimist Club, all the money that we take in goes out to support the youth in our community. So if you want to come, quarter auctions, I think they're unique to Ohio. I never heard of them until I moved here. But if you want to come out and enjoy some good fun, support your community, and possibly win some interesting stuff, you can do that. The last thing I want to mention, our Piqua Show Choir, which had a stellar year last year, they have their first competition coming up on Saturday, November 12th at Ada. So good luck to our show choir, Tom Westfall and crew. So that's all I have.
Commissioner Grissom?
Not too much on my end, except for Halloween. Weather was amazing. Hope everybody was good. I think that played in keeping kids safe. I think I saw a lot of cars being respectful and courteous to the trick-or-treaters, so I appreciate that. And then lastly, on November 8th is the planning meeting for the Wilder plot, and I know there's a lot of interested people in my area as well as myself, and a lot of us are aware and plan to be there as well, so if you can, make it out. So.
Commissioner Vetter.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Welker, comment to you. I appreciate the email that I got about the Hans Pavilion and the rental of that. What I'm hoping to get is the other side of that, which is the expense side of that. And I know that may be difficult to come by, but I ask for the same thing from the golf course. I would say that, can we get like a 10-year retrospective look at revenue versus expenditure for the golf course? That's going to help the ongoing discussion about where we are with that facility and how we treat the management of that. And so those two things would be helpful, from my opinion. And to continue with Commissioner Grissom's comment, trick-or-treat's over. You can start turning your porch lights back on. And I would offer that comment from PNIC as one of the solutions to trying to help fight crime in our community. Turn your porch lights on. Crime likes darkness, and we should be lighting up the night. So that's where I'm coming from.
Great. All right. Commissioner Lee?
Hey, I want to congratulate Piqua High School for continuing to win. I know they've got a tough test ahead of them, and I look forward to seeing them move on in the tournament after Friday. Also, I want to thank everybody who came out and came to the my celebrity bartending gig. I was more of a manager than a bartender, but did learn how to make a good old fashioned. So those people who came out, we were able to raise $1,400. Our goal was $1,000. So I'm very, very appreciative, and the Layman's boys basketball team will benefit in the long run, and that was for that cause, and I appreciate that.
I will say I came out there. I bartended for years, and I still learned something going out that night.
Yeah, you did. You did. That's right.
I did.
I learned how to make an old fashioned. I've liked old fashions. I'm never really a good bartender, but all those people who came, we appreciate. Also, there are a lot of activities going on this month. Like you said, the Planning Commission next Tuesday's gonna be a big one. On November 15th, Layman Catholic High School has a Veterans Appreciation Assembly from 2 to 3 in the afternoon. A local veteran, Jamie Slife, he's a retired Navy SEAL, is going to go out and speak to the students and just make sure that they understand and the sacrifices that our veterans have given to afford us the freedoms and the livelihoods that we're able to take. So if you've got some free time and would like to hear a real hero, and I told him, I ran into him this week at my job, of all places, and I shook his hand. I used to lift weights with him and talk to him, and I said, you know what, you've always been one of my heroes, and he shed a little tear there. He couldn't believe it, because he really is a hero. So if you've got time to listen to a good speech, please attend. And like I said, the commission is here to service the people. We're here to help and listen to your issues, your complaints, your problems, and we'll do what we can. And don't think that we're not listening, because we are. And if we can point you in the right directions or give you someone that can help you with your issues, that's what we want to do. We're here to help citizens of Piqua, potential new citizens of Piqua as well. So we'll do what we can. And with that said, and daylight savings time this weekend?
Sunday.
Yeah.
This Sunday.
It is. Hard to believe.
Please,
Yeah.
fall back. Spring forward.
Fall
That's
back.
right. So get ready for that. So with that said, I'm
All
done.
right. Just a couple of things. On Saturday, November 12th, is the Downtown Piqua Holiday Horse Parade. and it's at 7 p.m., so it'll be dark. The route this year is going to be just a little bit different because of the Y. The street in front of the Y is going to be blocked. So there's just a little bit, I think you're safe if you just stand on Main Street, you'll be fine. Another item is the dedication of bricks are available for purchase to honor living and deceased veterans, and they will be placed at the Veterans Memorial Park. You can pick up an order form at the chamber. You complete the form. Each brick costs $50 and includes an engraving of the veteran's name, date of service, and which branch of the armed forces that they served. So Veterans Day is coming up, and that might be one way that you can remember one of our treasured veterans. That's all I had, and I would take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.